Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, um, depending on where you are, actually. Can you hear me? I think we are live. For some reason, we are not able to go live on Instagram today. Good. Okay, so Facebook is good. Um, like I said, I don't know why I cannot go live on Instagram today. I've been trying to log into my Instagram, but it's not quite working. So there we are. We could not go live on Instagram. So on Facebook, do let me know. Um, okay, give me 1 minute. Let me see if I can just go on a different device on Instagram. Okay, let me try and go live on my phone on Instagram and see how that works. Let's try and set that up. That was not part of the plan today because I didn't know that Instagram would give me uh, any issues. I'm trying to see if I can set up my phone so that I can go live on Instagram on the phone. Okay, we're going to have to move this over to this side so that the phone can be on that side. You see, technology and all of its different. Yeah, you can see we have a microphone. Yeah, I will try to get a microphone. Let's see how it works. Please let me know how the sound is. Let me know how the sound is where you are. Okay, let me try and go live on Instagram on my phone. Yes. I'll probably not face the Instagram. I'll face the camera here, but let's see how it goes. We tried to see. Um, I've been struggling with that Instagram since I didn't even think to set up the phone. This is one of those things. Um, okay, we're live on Instagram. Let's see how that goes today. The two trying to bring the Instagram camera closer this way. Uh-oh. See if I can. So I won't be looking over this way. I don't even know if I can put it behind this. Please give me a minute. Let me do I'll try to do all the setting up. Okay, it's not working. Put the camera behind here. Okay, so sorry. I was hoping to get the Instagram. Okay, we have to manage this like this. For today, now I've affected all my lights. Okay, finally. Welcome to Growth Habits with Ngozi. I am your personal guide on the journey of growth. So, how are you doing? How are you doing? How is everything with you? Um, yeah, we are live and we're starting a new series today. Yes. We're starting a brand new series today. We've been talking about resilience all this while. And today we're going to start a new series talking about habits. So I hope you're ready to go on this journey with me. Yep. So, like I said, we've been talking about resilience for the past. We talked about it for like 4 or 5 sessions, I think. Resilience. So today we are beginning a new series, and that series is going to be on habits, building effective habits that will help you be more productive. Because this year we want to do all possible, everything that is possible to ensure that our 2025 is not like every other year where we have New Year's resolutions or something, or we set our goals, our targets, we have our vision for the year, and we wind up not achieving it. 2025 will not be like that. So I want to arm you and also arm myself, because as I arm you, I'm arming myself with everything necessary, everything that is possible for you to have to make sure that this year is productive, to make sure that this year, by the time we get to November, I don't even want to talk about December, by the time we get to November, you can say, wow, I've achieved this, this, and this. So that is the aim. That's why I'm trying to be quite intentional and careful in selecting the topics that we are talking about on growth habits this period. So, as I said, I can see Vine Aesthetics. Thank you for joining me on Instagram. I'm glad you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me see if I can see who Facebook. I can't see yet, but welcome, 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 and thank you for joining me today. As I said, we're beginning a new series on building effective habits. And we are going to try to the best of my ability to lay a foundation of effective habits for us. That is going to try my very best. So today we're going to look at the science of habits. That's the science behind habits. Um, just trying to make sure everything is okay. So we're going to look at the science behind habits. We're going to look at how these habits are formed. We're going to look at why it matters that you form some habits. So those are the things we're going to look at today. Do let me know once again if you can hear me. Um, just let me know wherever you are on Instagram, on Facebook. Let me know that you can hear me so that I'm not talking to myself. I checked that I've done a sound check on Facebook, and yes, I'm on Facebook. That I'm sure of. I'm not sure of Instagram because I couldn't. I couldn't really check on Instagram. So thank you once again for joining me. This is Growth Habits with Ngozi. I am your personal guide on the journey of growth. Um, I don't just lead you on the journey. I actually go on the journey with you because as I teach us these things, I'm also learning. I'm not just teaching us and just telling us, oh, this is what you should do. Oh, this is, how it should be. I am actually going on the journey with you. So that's why I say I'm your personal guide on this journey of growth. So we're going to start this new series. We're going to go right into it. And we're going to start this new series about habits, talking about the science of habits. Um, One thing that I know about habits is that, well, let's say they're easy to form somehow, but difficult to break. Even in saying they're easy to form, I'm careful because they're not that easy sometimes. When you now really want to form the habits, it doesn't want to form, it takes forever. It seems to take forever to form those good habits that we are trying to form. But habits are things that behaviors that we do or we carry out routinely. In fact, we do it without even thinking about it. It's unconscious. We don't have to think about, just like you don't think about sleeping. The same way that habits that we have, we don't have to think about it to do it. This is just, you know, what we do, not necessarily who we are per se. I'm careful to say that your habits are who you are, but it is what you do. And because you're so used to doing it, it has become a part of you. You do it unconsciously. But once you have formed the habit, once you have formed the habit, to break that habit and then form a new one becomes a bit difficult. It's it becomes a bit difficult actually to break the habit you have and then form new habits. And most times we don't have the patience that is required. We don't have the required discipline to ensure that this new habit we're trying to form sticks. We're in a hurry. We're in a hurry, but we need to be conscious of the fact that it took us some time to form the habits, so it's going to take us some time to break it. Having said that, let me go straight into what are habits. Let me just give us dictionary definitions, not just from my head. Now, it says that a habit is a routine behavior that is repeated regularly and often is done unconsciously. Often it is done unconsciously. You don't even think about it. You just find yourself doing it. The Cambridge Dictionary defines habits as something that you do often and regularly, sometimes without knowing that you are doing it. Sometimes without knowing that you are doing it. So that is the definition of a habit. In this series, let me also put this in here. In this series on habits, I believe is going to be like a 3-month series, long, a lot of things to, to talk about. But I'm going to bring in guests. It's not going to be only me talking about these habits. I'm going to bring in guests that will share their own perspective, their own understanding, their own expertise in the area of habits and different aspects of habits. So just be ready for that. Know that we are going to have guests this period. Okay. Now, habits are automatic responses, as we have said, and they are formed through repetition. And they are reinforced in our brain through that repetition. And the science behind it is that as we keep doing whatever it is, the brain begins to register that thing as something that needs to be done. And then that is how it's formed as a habit and it sticks. But see, there has to be repetition. That's the thing about habits. If there is no repetition, it doesn't stick in the brain. It doesn't get reinforced by the brain. So there has to be repetition. That is why you can't just form a habit in 2 days, 3 days, 1 week. Generally, it doesn't work because the brain has not had enough time to reinforce that activity, to reinforce that action, enough for it to become a habit. So there are several things science talks about habits, and I'll just try and go through a few of them. And one says that there is a habit hoop. Yes, this is science. I want us to see that this is not just what I think, proven. Now, it says there's a habit hoop, and the person that developed this habit hoop is Charles Duhigg. I pray that is how you pronounce his name. Charles Duhigg. So he says there is a habit hoop, and every habit follows a neurological loop with three parts. This neurological loop that every habit follows has three parts. Number one is the cue, and this cue is the trigger that initiates the habit. For example, a morning, the time of day, an emotion, an environment that could be the trigger. So the cue is the first part of the loop. There's always something that triggers this habit that you have formed. The second thing is the routine. That's the actual behavior, the actual action itself. So something has triggered it, and then you act out whatever it is. Then the third part of this loop is the reward, the benefit that reinforces the habit. See, we don't form habits that don't give us some kind of benefit. Even the bad ones, even the bad habits, I put bad in quotes, even those habits that we see as bad habits, they give us some kind of reward. And that is what reinforces that habit. That is why we do it again. Let me take, for example, if you're someone that gets, let's say, easily angry, let me just use that as an example. And the trigger, somebody says something. The behavior, that's the routine, you act out in anger. Now, the reward usually is that when you're forming this habit, you feel, yes, I have put this person in their place. Yes, I have, done what is needed. You understand? That feeling of, yes, I've done it. I've put them in their place. I've bested this person. I've, disciplined this person. It's an initial benefit because you feel good. Truth. You feel, oh, I feel good. I put this person in their place. Oh, I disciplined them. I showed them who is boss. And that rush of adrenaline is what is going to make you next time you lash out in anger. So every habit has the cue, has a routine, has a reward. Every habit, good or bad. And that is why the key to breaking these habits, the key is knowing the cue and possibly the reward. Because if you can find the cue, that is what triggers the habit. If you're able to discover that cue and you're able to control it, you might not repeat the behavior. Then, if, okay, let's say you couldn't figure out what is the trigger, but you're able to figure out the reward, this made me feel this way or any other way, then you can possibly also control the habit from that end. But it's always best to control the habit from the trigger point of view. To always try to figure out what is the trigger. What is that thing that's triggering this habit? Once you figure it out, then it's easy to break that habit. Okay. So it's easier. Let me not even say easy because it's easier to break habits and it's not easy. Anybody that tells you it's easy is not telling you the truth. It's not easy. Okay, so for example, let's say the cue is you wake up tired. Happens to all of us. Some days you just wake up tired. We're looking at the habit of drinking coffee because this is a habit I had for years, which I had to break because it was becoming a problem for me. So the cue that I wake up and I'm tired, I'm just not feeling okay. It's like I woke up, but my mind, everything has not woken up with me. That is the cue. And once I have that feeling, the next thing I do, which is the routine, the action, the behavior, is to go and get a cup of coffee. And I used to even tell people that until I drink coffee, I've not woken up. Anything you're discussing with me before I take my cup of coffee, just know that I'm just half listening. I'm not fully there. This is what I used to tell people. So the cue was that I wake up tired, wake up feeling not quite myself, wake up feeling something is not quite right. The action, the routine is that I drink coffee. I make myself a cup of coffee and I drink it. And when I drink this coffee, I feel energized. It's like my brain now does a reset, bang, 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 and everything is working. I don't know if it happens to any other person, but that was the habit. So over time, what happens, because this is the loop, over time, my brain begins to link the cue, waking up tired, with the reward, feeling energized. So in order to get from the cue, waking up tired, to the reward, feeling energized, the brain knows that I need to take coffee because I have done this repetitively. I hope repetitive. I hope that's English. I've repeated it severally. I've repeated it severally. So the brain has linked the cue and the reward, and it knows the action that brings that reward. So anytime I wake up tired, whether coffee is the solution really or not, once I drink coffee, I feel better. Even when coffee is worsening, truly, even when coffee is worsening the situation, I still feel better because I drank coffee. Simply because my brain has linked the cue with the reward. So I don't know which habits you may be, struggling to break now. Just know that because you have done it over and over, your brain is linking the cue to the reward. And once that is done, even when the action is no longer bringing that reward, you still do it because your brain has connected the two. And that is why for you to break the habit, you need to discover what is the cue and try to, give it a new cue, give the brain a new cue that leads to that same reward. That way you can break the habit. Okay, like going back to this drinking of coffee thing. Remember that I wake up tired. So I drink coffee. Then I feel energized. So if I want to break the coffee loop, I must find something else that deals with the tiredness when I wake up. I must discover another thing that I can do when I wake up tired. Because I've discovered that the cue that I wake up tired. So I have to find something else that I can do when I wake up tired that will make me feel energized. And keep doing that until my brain once again connects the two. Now, that new activity will give me the feeling of being energized, and I would not need to drink coffee anymore. I hope we understand it. This is how habits work. This is just a summary of how habits work. So, when you want to form a new habit, when you want to break an old habit, remember this loop: the cue, the routine, the reward. And then begin to work on the cue and the routine so that you still get the reward of feeling good or feeling energized or whatever. And you have to do this repeatedly. You have to do this repeatedly. Okay. You have to do this repeatedly. I hope that did not cut. I think Instagram cut for a second because a call came in on the phone. So that is what is essential. Okay. Um, Also looking at the science of habits, it's said that habits are formed in the basal ganglia of the brain somewhere. I think that basal ganglia is somewhere here. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but it's the part of the brain that's responsible for routine behavior. It's called the basal ganglia. And emotional responses. This is where these activities happen in our brain in the basal ganglia. And when you repeat a habit enough, when you repeat this action enough, the part of the brain that's in charge of decision making is called the, sorry, it's okay, the prefrontal cortex. I just had to quickly check. It's called the prefrontal cortex. And that part of the brain becomes less involved and is freeing up your mental energy for other things. So when you repeat a habit enough, the brain, like I said, just connects that when I see this cue, this should just be the reward. So it doesn't have to think. It doesn't have to devote thinking energy to that action anymore, so that it can use the energy for something else, more important things. And that is why those habits just happen. For example, the coffee. Once I drink coffee, I wake up tired, I drink coffee, I'm fine. I'm upset, I lash out, problem solved in quote. So even when you start feeling that, huh, my lashing out is creating more problems that is solving, you find it difficult to stop lashing out because your brain has formed that connection. You just have to reform it. Otherwise, you will keep lashing out. Otherwise, you keep drinking coffee, even when coffee is increasing your blood pressure. Do we get it? I hope I am making sense. I hope we're understanding me. For some, I don't even know if anybody is on Facebook. Usually it shows me when people are on Facebook, but it looks like I can't see anybody today. And on Instagram, I have one person, but it's not responding. So I'm wondering, okay, please do let me know that you are here. Let me know that you're watching me. Let me know where you're watching me from, if possible. So that is how habits are formed. And that is how these things work. Before we were told that it takes 21 days for a habit to be formed. Well, recent research is telling us now that it takes minimum of 66 days. Minimum. 66 days, already 2 months. So, when you want to form a new habit and you do one or two things, one day, 2 days, 1 week, and you begin to lament it's not working, you can see that you've not allocated enough time. You have not allocated enough time to it. So just keep being consistent in trying to form this new habit. Just keep being consistent, and you will see that in time it will work. But give it time. Very important. Give it time. 66 days is 2 months plus. 66 days, 2 months plus. So give it time. You have not done that activity for 2 months yet. So it's not yet time to conclude that it didn't work. It's not yet time. That is all I'm trying to pass across to us. You have to be consistent in the activity, in trying to change the habits for a minimum 2 months. And it's not 2 broken months, 2 months at a stretch. You keep going every day. You keep going every day. Then after 2 months, you didn't form the new habit. You can say, okay, this did not work. Let me move on. Okay, so this is now, I think it was in a 2021 study that they found that it now takes on average 66 days for a new habit or a new behavior to become automatic. All right, then why do habits matter? Why do habits matter? Habits determine actually who we are. It determines our identity, because we are not what you occasionally do. That once in a while I'm nice does not make me a nice person. That once in a while I am mean does not make me a mean person. That once in a while I'm angry does not make me an angry person. Habits determine our identity because it is what we do consistently. Consistently. If I journal every day, consistently. Then I can identify myself as someone that journals. I can identify myself as someone that eats healthy if I eat healthy all the time, every day, consistently. You can remember that we said the habit has to be consistent. That is why habits determine our identity because it now becomes who we are. It becomes who we are, excuse me. It becomes who we are. This is why it's so important to watch the habits we are forming because it does identify you. This is what you do all the time. It does identify you. Then habits drive our long term success because some days motivation is not there. Motivation is not there. See, when you look at athletes, let me use them as a quick example. When you look at athletes, athletes have rituals. They have things they do on a consistent basis. It's not just passion that is driving athletes. Passion is there, yes, but they have the discipline of some of them. They wake up every morning 4 a.m. and they go for a run or they go and do their exercises. They have consistent habits. There are people that have consistent habits. That is what makes them, the successful athlete that they are. It's not their passion. It's not their passion. Also, in the same way, if we as human beings in our normal everyday life, we want to have consistent or is it long term? If we want to have long term success, we must have consistent habits because every time consistent habits outperform motivation. Every time. The motivation goes up, goes down. It's not all we are not always motivated. Nobody is constantly motivated. Nobody. We are motivated today, tomorrow we are not quite so motivated. So it's not constant. But when you develop habits that um, go or that align with that success you're looking for, the day motivation is not there, the habit keeps you going. Another example I've told us about athletes. Another example is let's go spiritually a little bit. If you develop the consistent habit of praying, even on the days that you feel tired, too tired to pray, you find yourself waking up to pray. I don't know, who can testify to this, but I'm telling you that it is a fact. Because you have developed the habit, the day motivation is low, the habit takes over. The habit takes over. So habits drive long-term success. Nobody succeeds on motivation alone. You need habits. I gave us the example of an Olympic athlete. It is their habits that are structured that helps them perform well. It's not their motivation. The motivation helps is there, but what keeps them and ensures they have long-term success is the habits they have formed, the rituals that they go through every day. Okay. Then habits also free up mental space. Like I told us, when the brain forms this cue and reward connection, when the brain forms that cue and reward connection, it doesn't have to think about that particular action anymore. And because of that, you free up mental space. It doesn't, since it doesn't have to worry about this particular action anymore, it now happens automatically. It frees up your brain to do other more productive things. This is why another reason we have to be careful the habits we are forming. Have to be careful the habits we are forming. Because habits do free up mental space. The brain just feels okay, this activity, I don't have to worry too much about it. I don't have to give it too much thought because it has been automated. When you let me even look at it from this way. When we do, when we use like AI to like schedule our posts on social media, that you don't have to think about the posts anymore. You have scheduled your post for 1 week, and you know that the AI is going to handle it. You don't think about that anymore. You now focus on other things. It's the same way. That is how the brain works. Once you have formed the habits, the brain knows that, see this thing, I don't have to devote mental energy to it anymore. I don't have to. Victory, thank you for joining me. I can see you on Instagram. So, habits free up mental space. They reduce decision fatigue and increase productivity because the brain definitely feels, okay, this is taken care of. Let me concentrate on more important things. Okay, so now that we know what are habits, we've looked at the importance of habits. How do we now align our habits with purpose? Because for habits to be very useful, do I use that word? For it to really benefit us, to be beneficial, it's more like it. They have to align with our purposes. They have to align with what we're trying to achieve in life. If not, if they don't align, then we need to change them. The whole aim of developing habits is for them to help us fulfill the purpose of our lives. If they are not, we need to change them. So we need to have what are called purpose-driven habits. You know, um, you have to align the habits you're forming to your why, to your bigger why. Why are you, will I say, in this world? Why? Okay, 2025. Why are you trying to have a productive year? Why are you trying to achieve the things you want to achieve in this year? When you know that, then you have to form habits that will help you achieve that. That is why it's essential to align your habits to your purpose. Because if your habits are working contrary to the things you want to achieve, you're not going to achieve those things. You will not achieve them. So ask yourself, are my habits moving me closer to the life that I want? Are my habits moving me closer to the life that I envisioned myself having? If they are not, we need to change them. If they are, then we need to solidify those habits that are moving us towards the life that we envision, the life that we have, or the life that we want. Okay. So when we align our habits with our values, it's actually more meaningful, is more sustainable, and it's easier for us to keep habits that align to, our values, that align to our purposes. That is why it's easy for an athlete to wake up 4 a.m., for example, to go for a run. It's easier because that habit is leading him to achieving his purpose in life, to becoming an Olympic athlete, to becoming a gold medal winner, to becoming the best there is. If it is not aligned to that purpose, it will be more difficult for him, the athlete, to wake up that 4 a.m. and go for that run. To be more difficult. So align your habits with your values because that is what will help them be more sustainable, to make them more meaningful to you. Excuse me. So another example, okay, morning devotions now. It's not just a good Christian habit to have. It's actually more than that. But it shows that you have a desire to be spiritually grounded. It shows that you want to live a life that is led by wisdom, a life that is led by peace. morning devotions. So when you understand this, that this is what having morning devotions or times of prayer. I'm only calling it morning devotion because that's what we are used to calling it this part of the world. But when you understand that having a time of prayer, whether it's morning, I'm not even very particular about the time of the day. When you understand that is a reflection of your desire for spiritual grounding, that is a reflection of you living the life that is led by wisdom and peace, it becomes easier for you to form the habit of praying than when you're just looking at it as something, okay, it's just good to have. They said we should pray in the morning, so let me just pray. It is not, most times, see that idea of it's just what they say we should do. It's difficult to sustain habits that will promote that. But like I said, when you see it as, oh, it's stemming from my desire to be grounded spiritually, it's leading me to a life of wisdom and peace, it is easier for you to sustain the habit of having those morning devotions. It's easier, much easier. I can tell you for free, this one, I know it for a fact. When, in my own personal life, when morning devotion was just something we do as a family, I found this so difficult. I won't lie, I tried my best. I would wake up, come out for the morning devotion, be there, be present, but a lot of times it was just an activity until it became more than that for me, until I began to see it as this is how this is how I ground myself spiritually. This is how I develop a life that is full of wisdom. This is how I develop a life that is full of peace. This is how I commune and communicate with my master. It became easier. It became so much easier for me to have those times of prayer than when I was just seeing it as, they said we should pray. Simi, I can see you on Instagram. Thank you for joining me. You're welcome. So, see, this is why we need to really, any habit we are trying to form, we have to sit down and align it with purpose. When we align it with purpose, it becomes easier to do what needs to be done. It becomes easier. You can better deal with the discipline of forming that habit than when you just see it as one of those things. Okay, I hope that example helped us. So I'm going to quickly look at some practical tools that will help us build new habits. One is to start small. You must not pray 1 hour the first day, for example. You're just trying to form the habit of praying and you want to pray for 1 hour. It's not really, most times it doesn't work because you become overwhelmed by the sheer volume of that prayer time. So begin small. Um, Start with 5 minutes of prayer, for example. You might think, what is 5 minutes? Start with 5 minutes. Because 5 minutes is more achievable. You can achieve 5 minutes today, tomorrow, the next day, without even really putting in too much effort. So start with 5 minutes. From 5 minutes, you can grow to 10, to 15, to 20. And before you know it, you have achieved the 1 hour that was your aim. But remember that you have to see it as this is part of like my spiritual grounding. This is part of me fulfilling the purpose for which I'm on this earth, for it to be easier for you to achieve that habit. So begin small. Is it that you want to begin to journal? That start with just 2 minutes of journaling. You must not start with filling your, the whole page of your journal at once. Start with just 2 minutes. Write quarter of the page. Start somewhere. Start small. Success builds momentum. Success, it builds momentum. When you are able to achieve the 2 minutes journaling, that success will make you want to do 3 minutes. Or when you are able to complete the 5 minutes of prayer, the fact that you did it 5 minutes today, 5 minutes tomorrow, it will make you, okay, let me just add one extra minute. So success builds momentum. Start small. These are practical tools that will help you in building new habits. Number two, make it obvious. Make it obvious. For example, you want to build the habit of reading the Bible. Keep the Bible on your bed. Put it on your pillow at night. Do something that helps you see that thing you're trying to achieve. Find the sum there must be. Set an alarm on your phone, for example. Make it obvious. If you want to pray, set an alarm on your phone. Let the alarm ring. When the alarm rings, it reminds you, even if you have forgotten, that you need to pray. You want to start the habit of journaling. Keep the journal where you can see it. Keep it where it is visible. So make it obvious. Um, Now I'm trying to think if the habit you're trying to form is to, for example, not is an emotional thing. It's not like an activity. Now it's not like the Bible. You can see Bible is an emotional thing. It's an emotion you want to change. You can still do the same thing. You can still make it obvious. You can have cues. For example, if you get angry, remember to pause. Just have anything, any cue that will make this habit you're trying to form obvious. Anything. Remember to pause. Set what they call it. Set alarms on your phone for times of meditation, times of quietness, times of stillness. Do something to make this habit obvious. Okay, so that is the second tool that can help you. Then another thing that helps is what is called habit stacking. Another practical tool, habit stacking. That is, attach this new habit you're trying to form to an existing habit you already have, something you're already doing. For example, you can say that, okay, you want to be doing affirmations, and already you have the habit of brushing your teeth. This one, you don't even have to work at it. You have the habit of brushing your teeth. Attach those affirmations to that time that you're brushing your teeth. So ensure that whenever you're brushing your teeth, you're saying your affirmations. Because this new habit is attached to a habit that is already existing, it's easier to form. Like I said, you will brush your teeth. There's no way you're not brushing your teeth in the morning. So whenever you're brushing your teeth, ensure that you say your affirmations. If you're someone that does exercise, you go for a walk or something every day, attach a habit you're trying to form. Maybe you're trying to form a habit of listening or reading the Bible, actually. Start with listening to the Bible when you're going on your walk. Start with that. Ensure that you have your earpiece, put your audio Bible, and as you're going on your walk, listen to your Bible, listen to the Word of God. So you've started the habit you're trying to form on one that is already existing. It's easier for that new habit to stick because you've attached it to something you already do unconsciously. So anytime you're going for a walk, you put your Bible on audio and you listen. Anytime you're brushing your teeth, you say your affirmations. To habit stacking. Then another tool that helps us build habits is to track your progress. Keep track of how well you are doing. Track your progress. There are apps these days for everything. So I know there are habit tracker apps. Keep track of when you're achieving, when you're doing, whatever it is, that habit, that thing you're trying to imbibe. Keep track of it. Have someone that keeps you accountable. If maybe you you don't know the habit tracker, you couldn't find one, but I'm sure if we check their online, the habit trackers, I know they are. Each day you achieve it, you mark on the tracker, on the app. But you can also have someone that keeps you accountable. You can also have someone that, checks in on you every week or something to ensure that you are staying accountable. Track your progress. See, these small successes, I told you that success builds momentum. When you're having the little success, it builds momentum. You want to do more. You want to achieve more. Because you have done this, you want to go the extra step. So track your progress. Then, arrange or design your environment to make um, the good habits you're trying to imbibe easier and the bad ones you're trying to let go harder. Now, what I mean by this is, for example, okay, you're trying to live healthy, you're trying to eat healthy. The way to design your environment is to ensure that things like biscuit, things like ice cream or what have you, they are not where you can see them easily. Keep them out of sight or don't have them at all. It might be more difficult to not have at all because you're still working on building this habit. So keep them out of sight. Put them where before you will get to it, there's a little extra work you have to do to get to it. Many a time, just that little extra work to maybe climb on top of a counter to reach where you put the biscuits or something is enough to deter you from eating it. So keep the junk food out of sight. And then you want to, as part of this, your healthy life, you want to start exercising more. Keep your workout clothes, prepare them in the night so that in the morning you are seeing it is already there. So in designing your environment, do the things, make your environment conducive for the good habits you want to have, and make it more difficult for the bad ones you're trying to break. That's the idea. So, environment design. Now, there are some challenges. There are some challenges to forming habits. It's not a walk in the park by any measure. It's not a walk in the park. And some of the challenges that one may encounter is impatience. Impatience. Results take time. They're not automatic. They're not automatic. Um, and sometimes, the progress that we make in forming new habits may appear invisible. It may look like I am not seeing any improvement. I am still getting angry. I am still eating junk food. I am still skipping or missing my times of prayer. But remember that results take time. And the fact that you were able to even do or have 2 days of progress, for example, take the win. Take the win. Celebrate that win. Don't be too impatient. Don't be too impatient. Results take time. They are not automatic. They're not automatic. Another challenge that I see is perfectionism. You miss a day and then suddenly it's like, oh my God, I failed. No, you have not. That you missed one day does not mean you have failed. This does not mean that you should encourage missing of days in forming this new habit. No, but that you just missed one day. Pick yourself up. Go again. Go again tomorrow. Don't allow the fact that you missed one day make you completely lose track or completely go off track. You have not failed because you missed one day. You have not failed. So perfectionism is a challenge. And in order to combat that, don't allow yourself to be put off track because you missed one day. Don't allow it. So another challenge is lack of clarity. We set vague goals of what we are trying to achieve. And because the goals are vague, the habits that will bring them become inconsistent. So ensure that you have clarity in what you're trying to achieve. The goals you're setting for yourself for 2025, you should have set already anyway. The goals you have for your life, make them as clear as possible. Don't set vague goals, because this is a challenge in forming habits. Because the goals are vague, the habits become inconsistent, because it's not defined, it's not well defined. So ensure that your goals are well defined. That way you can um, better form consistent habits that achieve those goals. Okay. For example, don't say, um, I want to read more or something like that. No, say I want to read 10 pages before I go to bed or daily or whatever. So set clear goals. Don't say I want to lose weight. Say I want to lose 5 kg. You understand? Be more specific. When your goals are specific and clear, not vague, it's easier to form the habits or to even determine the habits that will help you achieve those goals. Okay. Um, Generally, this is how habits work. Generally, these are the things that form the foundation of habits, of forming habits in our lives. So if we're able to do these things, then we'll be able to have better habits, and we'll be able to be more effective, more productive in our daily lives in this year. Like I said, we're going to look at different aspects of this forming habits as we go on. Today was just like an introduction, and I was looking at the science of habits. How does it really work? Um, and how you can develop these habits, some of the practical tools you can apply that will help you develop these habits, that will help you fulfill purpose, that will help you achieve the things that you want to achieve, that will help you have that life that you envision for yourself. So going forward for today, I would like us to, one, identify one habit. Identify one habit that we have that supports, our spiritual, supports our personal growth, supports our achieving our purpose. Identify one habit, and then is it examine, I want to say, that habit, and write down the cue, write down the routine, and write down the reward of that habit. It can be one you already have. Actually, you can even choose one you want to develop. However you want to do it, it's up to you. But write down the cue. Remember, the cue is what triggers that action. The routine is the action that you take. Then the reward is the benefit that you derive from the action. So identify one habit, write down the cue, write down the routine, write down the reward of doing that action. And then for okay, 7 days, because our next program is in 7 days' time. Practice it consistently for 7 days. This habit that you have identified, practice it consistently for 7 days without fail. Try not to miss any day. And let me know how it goes. Let me know, did you feel better? Let me know, did it improve your productivity? Just let me know how it goes. I'm interested in knowing how it goes with you. I will also identify one habit. I will also write down the cue, the return, the reward, and I will let us know how it went next week when we're here again. So, in concluding, I just want to let us know that it's not about a new year. You don't need a new year. Because normally we do New Year resolutions. Every New Year we set new goals and all that. You don't need a new year. What you need is a new habit. What you need is a new habit. So start one. Start small. Start small, and ensure that the habit is aligned to your purpose. Ensure that that habit, ask yourself, this habit I'm trying to imbibe, I'm trying to form, does it reflect who I am becoming? Not necessarily who I am now, because you see, we're trying to start a new habit. So, does it reflect who I am becoming? If the answer is yes, then work out the cue, the work out the cue, work out the routine, work out the reward of that habit, and then stick to it. Stick to it. So intentionally this week, build one habit. Build one habit. And share with me how it's going. Share with me the progress. You can share it on this live, or when we come next week, you share it in the comments. But share with me one habit that you formed intentionally and how it went during the week. All right. Thank you for joining me once again. It's always a pleasure to share these this 1 hour. If I call it few minutes, it looks like it's actually few minutes. This 1 hour with each and every one of you that joins me. I really appreciate your time. And those that watch the replay, God bless you. Thank you also for always being there and joining and watching the replay. I appreciate those that join live. I appreciate those that join and watch the replay afterwards. Thank you all so much. Remember to follow us on all our social media handles, Facebook, my personal page, Ngozi Onwucholoba. We also have Growth Habits with Ngozi page, and Growth Habits with Ngozi group. Join there. On Instagram, my personal Ngozi Kao Instagram profile, and there's also Growth Habits with Ngozi on Instagram. Follow us there. On YouTube, we have a YouTube page. Please go and subscribe to that YouTube page. We're also live on YouTube right now. So these live sessions are happening on YouTube concurrently. So follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to our page, Growth Habits with Ngozi. We're on TikTok, though not very visible yet, but we are working on that TikTok. We're on TikTok, Growth Habits with Ngozi. You can see that we're everywhere. We're everywhere. So follow us on all our social media handles. And thank you once again for sharing this time with me. Next week, we are going to be talking about breaking bad habits. Yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about next week, breaking bad habits, the ways, some practical steps that we can take that will help us stop the things that are holding us back, those habits that are holding us back. So see you next week, Tuesday, right here on Growth Habits with Ngozi. We're here Tuesday, 12 noon Nigerian time on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We are live on all three platforms. I hope to sort out whatever it was that made it that I couldn't sign into my Instagram page on my laptop. Usually that's where I sign in, and so that I can be live on the three platforms without having a different device. But today something didn't quite work out, so I had to log on Instagram on a different device. So thank you all once again for joining me, and I will see you right here on Growth Habits with Ngozi next week, Tuesday, 12 noon Nigerian time. Yes, let me say this before I leave today. Some of the sessions might be later than 12 noon because of the guests that I'll be having. So anytime that there will be a change in the time, I will let us know, because I have to work with the time of my guests. I have to ensure that the time is convenient for them. Yeah, so anyone that will be that will not be 12 noon. I will let us know and we can adjust the time. All right. Thank you all once again for joining me, and see you next week, Tuesday, right here on Growth Habits with Ngozi. Don't forget to practice one habit, build one habit intentionally this week. Build one habit. Don't forget and share with me what that habit is and how you worked on it for the week. Thank you so much, and do have an awesome, awesome day. Bye.